Philip has cerebral palsy. It wasn't diagnosed until he was about 2 years old when we noticed that he was having more and more difficulty crawling, and he would crawl and actually fall onto his face. And then we noticed that he had difficulty able to stand and hold on tables, and he wasn't advancing as quick as normal children. And then his speech was well behind the normal age of 2, 3. And that's when he was diagnosed actually with cerebral palsy. I went through a divorce, and one of the challenges of the divorce was raising a son that was at home all the time, you know, with his disability. I was still well in denial, but my sister said, Philip, it's time for a change for you, and Philip, most important, there is a better way of life for Philip and for you that I know is out there, but you just have to take the time and find it. You know, and I was reluctant to do so because I thought that everything we were doing was great because we enjoyed our life together. But my apprehensions were, it was about 14 years ago, Philip had a car accident. He was in a car accident. At that time, I saw him. He was laying on the ground. He had a neck brace surrounded by the medics and the police officers. He was bloody. His leg was bent. His leg was broken, but he was alive. One of the scariest moments for me in my entire life, when I had to let his hand go when they would not let me go on a medevac flight. And the look in my eyes and his eyes of just pure fear of not knowing what was going on at that point was the scariest point in my life. That's when I became more reluctant to even think there was, you know, something I could do to let him go. As good as Noah's Ark seemed, I was still learning. I didn't know a lot about it, but I was reluctant. I just figured that, you know, Phil was going to live with me, you know, forever. We were going to be together forever. Our life was good, and I didn't want to change anything. And another one of the scariest moments in my entire life was the night that Philip spent the first night at Noah's Nest in his bedroom. We were in the bedroom, had his room all set up, so, you know, I'd take him over there, he'd hang out, but I'd bring him back home. But then it was a time that I felt it was, you know, let him spend the night on his own. He's sitting on the edge of his bed, and I'm standing up and I'm saying goodbye. And he was shaking, I was shaking, and our eyes were this big. And then I looked at him and I told him good night. I'd see you tomorrow. And I turned and walked away. And that was the scariest moment, another scary moment for me. And then you know what? The next day everything was okay. So, yeah. Do you remember that day? First night at Noah's Nest?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a big day. And at that point, I also knew that Noah's Ark was right, where he was living was right, and we were on the right journey for a better life for Philip. I feel more comfort now, even more so than I've ever felt before, where he's at in his life now. You have your good days, you have your days that you worry, you have your days that you feel fear, and your days that you feel just pure happy. You know, it is so hard to explain the emotions that you go through as a parent with a child with a disability and getting them to the point where they are now with the ability to live on their own. He loves golfing. You know, he participates in other activities throughout the community and you know, through the years of Noah's Ark. And he has grown to have such a large friend base, and he does really whatever he feels he wants to do. And that is amazing, seeing him from where he was to now. I'm worried about when he doesn't come home. Where are you? What are you doing? It is a process and it takes time, but have faith in your child that they have the ability to do things that you would never know that they could do. And that's what I still continue to see out of my son, is his ability to grow and do things differently. And Noah's Ark's the only thing that's right, period.